this is the big thing I wanted to talk to you about, because me and Cav spoke about it for a while, and this is the thing. I talked about it with Cav, and he laughed his head off about it and said this is ridiculous. So now I'm going to talk to the wrestlers. So I'll read the story out, okay? All right. The Rock will be a part of WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood and fully plans to be a huge part of the show, with the WWE wanting The Rock to make a handful of appearances from January to April and to put over Roman Reigns on night 2 of the show. The Rock is said to have detailed talks with Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and Roman Reigns about how the storyline would play out, which was originally set for WrestleMania 38 before the XFL relaunch was pushed back a year. The Rock's main reason to return to WWE is to push the XFL to the WWE social media audience, which was hugely successful for Bad Bunny. It is my understanding that while The Rock has indicated that he's still good for Mania, Triple H has been unable to have any detailed talks about creative. However, it is understood that The Rock conveyed to Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard how important it was for him to be protected more than he was at WrestleMania 29, and how all parties understood that people, this is the funny part, according to Cav, how all parties understood that people wouldn't just be seeing Dwayne Johnson losing on a major stage, but they would also be seeing The Rock, Luke Hobbs, and Black Adam being beaten in a hugely promoted fight, which could potentially hurt his future projects and earnings. It is believed that Vince McMahon was very sensitive to this and gave The Rock several reassurances that may or may not be upheld by Triple H. Triple H is said to be aware of the situation via Bruce Pritchard, and this is said to be a huge reason why Bruce is probably still working for WWE under the Triple H regime. Therefore, this is why we are now seeing a backup plan in place for Rock and Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso in a tag match, which would probably see Jey carrying the load on both TV and potentially taking a fall. Alternatively, we could see Jey turn on The Rock and The Rock defeated 3-on-1, satisfying his appetite to be protected. Lastly, we could also simply see The Rock going over, setting up a match with the Roman down the line, with The Rock holding a 1-0 lead going into another one-on-one, going into the final one-on-one. As stated, this is a backup plan, and the WWE are still hopeful that The Rock will do business. However, thus far, Triple H has been unable to nail down any creative talks and is only receiving secondary information via Roman Reigns and Pritchard. Triple H has even gone as far as to publicly ask The Rock to pick up the phone to talk to him about WrestleMania. That's the story.
Let me just say a quick deal.
Go ahead.
Let me get this straight, Billy. Who doesn't want Rock to lose because it'll hurt his movie characters, his people, or what? Is that serious?
That's serious. Yeah, that was because there's a Black Adam. Basically, the gist of it is the next Black Adam movie is Black Adam versus Superman, right? So
they don't want him losing to Roman Reigns to sell the movie so he can beat Superman. They can't possibly think human beings are that stupid.
But the children will see The Rock lose to Superman and will wonder how we're losing to Roman.
Let me ask you a question. Conan's facing a very similar situation with this. So you've got the Marvel universe now coming into AAA. Is there going to be problems now with which characters should be perceived to go over? Are all the Marvel characters going to have to go over because they don't want the
Marvel characters only wrestle Marvel characters.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right, but do they have input where they're like, for example, hey, we don't want this Venom character to lose to Spider-Man ever, or something like that? Is there anything like that?
Well, the most simple solution to this would be start writing Roman Reigns into some of the movie scripts as Roman Reigns, a superhero.
Marvel's IP.
Then you can have Roman Reigns versus Black Adam in the movie. That's ridiculous.
I think. This is not.
I can't believe that people can't differentiate. One's a wrestling show, and he's The Rock, and the other one, he's Black Adam playing a superhero.
That's not the story. I can't believe they're actually trying to sell that to the WWE brass.
Right.
They're going to actually believe that, bro, it sounds like they're trying to work them into putting The Rock over. Is exactly what this sounds like.
But
that's all this sounds like. This sounds
I think it hurts The Rock, especially if you turn on him.
Well,
of course it doesn't.
In terms of the crowd.
His partner turns on him and leaves him laying, and he loses. I don't think it affects him at all. His popularity,
of course it doesn't.
His nothing. I don't think it.
What about a clean loss?
Why would you want to do that?
Maybe if Roman was to beat him clean, I think was what.
Why would you want to do that?
Did they actually think that nobody's going to see Black Adam 2 if Rock loses to Roman Reigns in WrestleMania?
But why would you want him to do that? Why would you want him to beat The Rock clean and under any? I mean, it's The Rock, dude.
Yeah, but if it's like The Rock's last match or something, past the torch, Roman's the king, the head of the table,
If that's his last match and that's what you want to do, I guess so. If The Rock's cool with it, but I don't see no reason to do it.
You're not telling me that they could sit there and, after the match, look at each other and their family and hug, and Rock gets the pop and stuff and everything, and Rock raises in.
Yeah, there's a lot of
there's so many things you can do. Like, I think it's fascinating that that's even a story.
It very specifically says it was important for him to be protected more than he was at WrestleMania 29. WrestleMania 29 is a clean loss to John Cena. That's actually in here, and that has been stated. And it also says that Vince and Bruce completely understood and knew how they were going to go about things. So if there's an issue with Triple H, that means he's either not doing the finish or not putting The Rock over. So that's where this is at, and this is why you're seeing Jay all in it, because they don't know what they're doing with it yet. And I'm going, and I have like tickets to this, and I fully expect to see Rock and Roman, because that's what I've been told for the whole time, and I still expect to see it, but I just don't know, how it's gonna end.
How bad was The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's brand hurt by losing to John Cena over the past 10 years?
Nothing.
Of course not.
Nothing.
The guy's a billionaire.
He got more popular.
This is so silly. It's ridiculous.
But it's different though, isn't it? Because like this is the thing. This is the difference. Because this is the difference. As in, I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm giving you what I understand to be the explanation. He now works for like the DC universe. He's now doing the movie character that he wants to do. So DC will have a lot of say in how The Rock looks in the public eye. So the feeling would be, before, when he lost to John Cena or whatever, he didn't have a reoccurring established character. Even Luke Hobbs from Fast and the Furious was established afterwards, and he wasn't a fighter and he wasn't a superhero. Now, Henry Cavill, the guy who played Superman and whatnot, they're not going out and losing UFC fights, right? Because it would in some way that would damage their credibility. And obviously,
no, it wouldn't.
Okay,
bro. Who are, like, if you're actually trying to, like, they're really trying to think that actors playing roles, like where are we now in because professional wrestling, there is no more suspension of disbelief. Everybody knows it's a work. But what we're trying to say now is, like, we're pretending it's not a work, but we're trying to work the people that think it's, that know it's fake, and trying to work them into think it's real by putting The Rock over in a match.
But here's the problem. Ben Affleck is Ben Affleck, and then he becomes Bruce Wayne, who becomes Batman, right? The Rock is Dwayne Johnson, and then he becomes a Rock. So there's Dwayne Johnson, the man, then there's The Rock, the wrestler, and then there's the superhero Black Adam. So he's already got an alter ego who has to be strong. The superhero is the strong.
But Black Adam is Dwayne Johnson playing a movie character.
Okay, that's Glenn. That's you who's been in the wrestling industry, who's a fairly intelligent person. You run it. You go and run. You're in charge of your business at work, whatever. You're talking about hillbillies. You're talking about kids. You're talking about, like, women. Like,
I'm aware of that, but they understand. We
are the smart audience, right?
Here's an example.
But you're assuming this is what people do, and this is, I can't stand this. Okay, and this is what they're doing too. Is you are, like, trying to make it sound like people are far stupider than they are. It's like there's an assumption that people, like, okay, because I know what's going on here, and that you're stupid because you're going to assume that Dwayne Johnson is really Black Adam, and if Black Adam can't lose to Roman, because that's a level of assumption that you're dealing with people that have mental
really stupid people.
That's not your audience. Like, if you have an above 75 IQ, you know the difference between a movie character and a real person. Like, but if you don't, well, where that audience is not an audience you're catering to, because that audience is not having a significant amount of money that you want to market to that can pay for products and services. So it's like, this whole thing is just they're just working him into trying to go over. That's what it comes across as me, because all this hyperbole. I want to hear Konnan's thoughts on this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think that people should be able to distinguish between the two, but there is some to what Billy said there's a lot of women and kids and dumbasses out there that, oh my God, but I don't think enough to make a bigger difference.
Yeah.
And so I would agree with what you're saying.
A perfect example, although he's not as big a star as The Rock. When Dave Bautista came back, he put everybody over, and that didn't hurt him in Guardians of the Galaxy at all.
Of course not.
Lesnar.
There's so many examples of this that like try to pretend that all the previous examples don't exist anymore is ridiculous.
Lesnar came in.
Here's the thing, bro. It doesn't matter if you're good anymore, Billy. It's if you're entertaining. I'll give you an example. Obviously, Conor McGregor is not the fighter he used to be. Well, at least in his last 2 fights, he wasn't. But he's the most entertaining guy out there. And if you put him in a movie and you're given a good part, it's probably going to do good. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you the perfect example, okay? Do you think that people would have been upset or like if they would have been confused or, they wouldn't have bought it? When Kevin Nash was in the movie The Punisher and fought the character in the movie, okay? And the character in the movie went over on Kevin Nash. Would that have laid the groundwork that if they were going to have go and have an angle and have a wrestling match, that there's no way Kevin Nash should go over on that guy because he put him over in the movie?
The difference is this, right?
It's no difference.
Okay, there is a difference. I'll tell you.
How? It's a movie character and a wrestler. It's a guy playing two different characters, a wrestler and a movie character.
It's levels. The difference is this. The WWE currently draw 2 million, just under 2 million on Raw, about 1.7 and 2 million on SmackDown, right? When The Rock is there, the reason The Rock is there is to get that number up to around about 3, and some SmackDowns he's going to be very close to 4. That's the point. He pulls in all of those people that are there to see The Rock. Kevin Nash doesn't do that. So you get this isn't just wrestling fans. These are expired wrestling fans coming back who already invest in The Rock's movie. He wants them to watch the XFL, which is the whole reason he comes back. So you double your audience on the road to WrestleMania because of this guy, because history dictates that's what you do. I don't think it's going to be an exact science because that was a one-off when last time he came back to Fox. But still, you're going to have a bigger audience on it. It's going to be magnified by The Rock, and the end of the journey is that he loses.
I got the solution to this. Okay, is that Rock instead of I think Rock should come back as his Baywatch character. Then he can. Then Roman Reigns can go over on him. Would you agree with that?
Look, I don't agree with any of it. I'm trying not to make this be a one-sided argument where Joe sits there and goes, "It's stupid." You sit there and goes, "Stupid," and Konnan sits there and goes, "Stupid." I've already spoken to one guy that said it was stupid and tried to find the other side of the coin. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.